a friend who lived in Ferguson. His dad was in.
Oh, you had a. Oh,
he was white. He was white.
I have a friend who lived in Ferguson.
Whoa. He was white. No, but I had a friend who lived in Ferguson, and his dad was in a band in high school with Michael McDonald, also from Ferguson.
Okay, that's actually really cool.
Yeah, so don't go cut me up and be like, oh, your fun facts are.
I will say, if there's one white dude that just is like supersedes all white dudes, it's pretty much Michael McDonald.
It's amazing. Like most things when it comes to Ferguson, and generally, you listen to a little bit of context, and all of a sudden,
Dude, that probably peaked so much.
it's fine.
Oh, wow.
This, my friends, is overarching. I'm Colin.
I am David.
And I'm Bradley.
And this is Overarching's podcast about St. Louis. Not just a sports podcast.
This side is the sports. This is a sports shrine.
And weirdly, I'm not the sports person. I mean, I do.
This is all my stuff.
I love me some sports.
All my stuff.
But David's the guy.
ABC's of St. Louis, arts, business, culture, development,
economics.
Oh, fuck. The
ABCDEFs of St. Louis.
Bicity.
It's good. You should continue to watch the show if you like things other than accounts that talk about, like, this is the best brunch spot in St. Louis, or like...
Don't sit here and act like we're not to do a 31425 about brunch spots in St. Louis.
We're not going to do a 31425
I'll do one
about brunch spots in St. Louis.
Colin and Bradley after hours.
Colin and Bradley at 10 a.m. on a Sunday.
I'm not a brunch guy. I'm a breakfast guy. I don't brunch. I breakfast.
Does that make you a man?
No, it just makes me confused.
Bradley, heaping a little praise on our friend here. If this isn't the first episode to come out, you've seen Bradley because he wears the same jacket every day of his life, including in the summer.
It's false.
He has the Starbucks Workers United pin on his jacket, and that's not just because he's a hipster. It's because Bradley was fired a little over a year ago.
He was the kingpin.
Yeah.
Let's be very clear.
It's maybe not the right terminology. What's
the word I was looking
Bradley
for?
has really been the figurehead for.
What does kingpin mean?
It's drugs.
I meant to say linchpin.
I tried to stay away from that one too.
Right. That's why I didn't want to say it. I was like, I didn't want to say that. I was like, that doesn't seem right. So I'm going to go to a bowling term that's not a bowling term.
It's the big drug guy. Bradley.
Oh, no, that's Bradley.
Bradley has been the figurehead. For a lot of the union and union busting activity that Starbucks has been, having around the St. Louis area. Stores have been unionizing. And also Starbucks corporate has been coming in with some pretty awful tactics over the last year. And Bradley has quite a story to tell. Why don't you tell us quickly about your...
You should all be worshing Bradley for what's happening in St. Louis.
I don't know about that.
Right,
but,
no, I'm very proud of him. Like, I'm going to like pump the tires on this a lot. Like,
That is not an idiom. I'm going to push back a little bit on the figurehead of the labor organizing movement.
I am using that.
You've been on the news.
I've been on the news.
And you were one of the first. Don't. You were one of the first people. And probably he's going to brag about being fired, or I'm going to brag about being fired.
And I'm not the only person in St. Louis who's been fired.
But you were one of the
organizing.
first people, if not the first person, at the first store.
Yeah.
To be unionized in the city.
They chose you purposefully. Let's be very clear.
Sure. I'm not saying my termination was not targeted. It was, and very recently a federal judge wrote down it was. But no, I'm not the only person in St. Louis who's been terminated for their organizing activities. I was on the organizing committee for the first Starbucks location in St. Louis to unionize.
Which is what location?
The Lindbergh and Clayton one over by Plaza Frontenac.
And how many are unionized now?
We have 8 stores in the St. Louis area that have that are union.
That's the champagne.
Oh, thank you.
That's what the Rangers did last night.
So it's been really, really cool to see that momentum happen. We had a lot of momentum last summer, and then just this past summer, there was another big push of momentum of new stores unionizing, and that process has been moving faster and faster. And it's been really exciting to, like stand up for, hey, we're the reason this business happens. And so let's actually get paid well and treated well and, take ownership of what's going on. Starbucks is one of those places that for a long time has had a reputation as being like one of the better employers as far as benefits go and stuff. But they've been coasting on that reputation for a really long time, and they've been taking things away from their workers because, like any large publicly held corporation, like their number one bottom line is like shareholder returns, which requires, quarterly growth, which is going to require acquisition growth and cutting of expenses, and labor's an expense. So
that's when I get up every morning and I'm like, man, I don't want to go to work. Then I think, what about the shareholders?
Yeah.
And then it motivates me.
Well, and that's the
trick.
Think about
boards.
I mean, you guys, if you're going to ask me about organizing at Starbucks, I'm going to quickly talk about the broader things going on in society. But here's the trick.
Yeah,
let's boil it down. Let's boil it down to some catchphrases, right? Record profits are stolen wages.
That's kind of a vibe, my dude. Like, that's a vibe.
Right. So that's the thing. And so just like
that made me think.
So what you're saying
Never
is,
heard that one before.
Are you saying the Starbucks is not one of the top 5 best brunch spots in St. Louis?
It certainly is not. That food all comes in the building frozen.
Either way, maybe a little bit.
No, we're proud of you, dude. That's really what it comes down to.
It's really exciting. So, and here's what I got to say. Like, if you care about the labor movement, pay attention to what's going on. If you don't care about the labor movement, pay attention to what's going on, and I'll radicalize you. And if you want to, like right now, if you want to support union workers in Starbucks stores, I'd say like if you are going to buy Starbucks, if that's a part of your daily rhythms, then just try and seek out one of the unionized stores and tip them really well, and like walk in and say, I'm proud of what you guys are doing. Especially if you say it in front of their management, walk in, be real nice to the workers, thank them for their hard work, tell them, hey, they should put more people on the job here, and just like, tip them well, tell them you're proud of them.
Bother management, tip staff.
Bother management, tip staff, but not like bother management.
Well, passive aggressive.
Not like management. Let me see your manager.
No.
Type talk.
No, that's not. No.
How long, by the way, long have you been without your job at Starbucks?
A little over a year. So
it's been over a year, which is one of those tactics that corporate does purposefully. Get the linchpin.
The most visible organizers.
Well, it's also the lawyers haven't been, or allegedly haven't been. All this is allegedly.
Yeah.
Just cover ours. The lawyers for Starbucks haven't really been negotiating in good faith, right? They've been
right. No, kicking this down the road. The first stores in the nation to organize were in August of 2021 in Buffalo, and there's not a single unionized Starbucks store that has a contract yet.
Jesus.
Which is like, it takes a long time to get a first contract, but it doesn't take that long to get a first contract.
For those people who don't know, like I was one of those people who didn't know before I met you, it's the workers, secrets to organize to have a union vote. They vote for a union vote. They vote to have a union. That's like recognized by the National Labor Relations Board. Yeah. And then the NLRB and you guys and the lawyers all have to like meet and come to a.
Well, the company and the workers meet to negotiate the contract. The NLRB just like governs the laws that say what has to.
Like who's on the other side of the table when the lawyers are there from Starbucks negotiating this contract? In theory, if they were to show up.
Yeah, so there's
like literally like you.
Yeah.
And
so
like
there is like Starbucks Workers United is.
That's why it's so impressive.
Yeah, and Starbucks Workers United has like national and regional organization boards that are associated with like the SEIU and stuff. So like there's some like larger union institutional support for the unions, but each individual location right now is an individual bargaining unit. And yeah, I've not been in a bargaining session, but coworkers of mine have been present in bargaining sessions where the lawyers walk in, take roll, and walk out.
Not to get too like, but like that for me feels a little shitty on y'all's part. Like not blaming you guys, like as far as like the David versus Goliath almost aspect of like, here's what I always thought. I always thought it was like, you know, you got the workers on one side. Oh, I'm passionate. Yeah, I want a union. Yeah. And then you have like Howard Schultz, but not him anymore on the other side. Like,
yeah, that's what he sounds like.
And then both organizations end up with lawyers that meet, and then they come to a thing. They're like law, this law.
And there are lawyers in the room on both sides.
Okay, good. That's what I was thinking. Because
Yes.
I was like,
okay.
is Starbucks hiring all these high-end lawyers to come in, and then it's just like Bradley on the other side having to have all this knowledge? And I know it's not actually just Bradley.
Yeah.
But is it like the
it
people?
kind of is,
Is it like the people who I met on the picket line, and that's about it?
No, there are like career negotiators with the labor unions that like are part of this.
Sick.
So like we have that support for sure.
Starbucks Workers United is like a nationwide.
Sure.
thing. So they have a whole-
I guess I didn't know how that part of the process worked. Just making sure that you guys are.
Either way, you're close. You're close to getting your job back. That's what we feel
So there
right
was
now,
like
yes?
the in my case, which is a part of a lot of other unfair labor practices.
That's why I wanted to talk about it.
Yeah.
right
So
now, is 'cause we're really
so
close.
like I was terminated October 21st of last year.
That's insane.
And then 11 months later,
October 21st.
yeah.
Today's October 24th. Close enough.
I know, and
happy birthday.
And but 11
Happy
months
no
later,
income for
11 months later, on September 21st, the decision was written in the case that my termination was a part of,
Such a good day.
saying, yeah, Starbucks, shame on you, bad company, you need to give him back his job, give him back pay, all this other recompense.
So you're gonna get your back pay.
Well, so that's the thing, is like, it's all administrative law, so like these things take time.
But you're gonna get a check.
Yeah, I'm gonna get a fat check, I guess.
Gonna get a lump.
Yeah,
It's gonna get a lump.
So the judge writes his decision. Then from there,
lump,
there's
baby.
like, after the judge writes his decision, there's a period of time where it's like, you know, has to go through the administration stuff and things have to like go through and get enforced. Like the board, once the board like officially adopts that decision, you know, and says there aren't any other filings or stuff, you know, exceptions or appeals, then like that starts the timer for like 14 days to get my job back and get my money.
Well, so I think first of all, keep going. Second of all, I will send in all the locations.
Yep.
Just put up here.
Put them up here. There are some in the
These
city.
are all the
They're
locations.
pretty like evenly spaced
They're decently
throughout the
spread out.
Starbucks
Yeah.
area. The one in the city is Hampton and Wise. Is there two in the city?
There's three in the city.
Chippewa.
Kingston
Chippewa, that's
Chip,
right.
Hampton Wise, and then Sydney and Grand was a new one.
Right.
City
Hey,
Grand.
so yeah, we got Tower Grove, we got Southtown, and we got whatever that Dogtown
East
area.
Yeah.
No, it's actually the Hill.
That's technically the Hill?
The
No.
granted, was it
Hampton
Hampton Wise? Yeah.
That's not technically the Hill, is it? Isn't that like part of Cheltenham?
Is it? Wait, Hampton and Wise. I always get where the Hill is.
Forest Park South.
It's Hampton and Wise because it's Dogtown. Nope. Whatever.
It's
I always get
behind it's south of the Mercedes-Benz
It's
dealership.
I think you're right. I think it is Cheltenham.
It's on Hampton, just south the
If
park.
it's Cheltenham, I look like a freaking genius.
Other St. Louisans chime in here.
Yeah.
I like to consider myself a map man.
Oh,
Not
I
like-
am a Rand McNally master.
He's my dad.
Oh no, he's my granddad. Wait, does that mean you're my dad?
Son.
Ryan O'Reilly's my dad. He's my dad.
But I get the Hill like geographically confused as to whether it is just south of 64 or just south of 44.
It's 44.
I know. Yeah. I think about it for a second. I'm like, yeah, no, it's Dogtown. That's my credibility is gone.
Cool.
They're pretty close in color and pretty close flags. Like just Irish and the Italian flags are not that far off.
Yeah.
One's orange, one's red. Yeah.
It's me and you.
Yeah, that is us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what's behind you real quick.
Maybe.
Anyway, to cap it off, Bradley,
Which ones?
we're proud of you.
Yeah.
We love you.
Thanks.
Good job. Get your money back.
Go support those locations, and like if you want to just yell at people.
There's a Instagram and Twitter presence for like St. Louis
That's what I
Starbucks
was-
Workers United, and then like the national stuff. And here's the thing. Last year, Red Cup Day is like Starbucks' kickoff for like the holiday season. They give out like a bunch of like
it's
free
coming up.
Red Cups. Last year, there was a big nationally coordinated action of a bunch of unionized stores striking that day.
Is it happening again?
It's happening again. It's not a secret this time. Like, it was kind of a secret, but of course they found out. This year, we know it's not a secret, but hey, so keep up there and like show up on a picket line and hold a sign and scream and shout. It's a lot of fun.
There you go, buddy.
Oh yeah.
If you see him on the street, give him a thanks for sticking it to the man.
I got a funny thing.
Funny thing.
Go.
No, one time we were on the picket line and we're like outside our store, like right on like Lindbergh and Clayton, and like someone like drives by and like literally shouted like, "Get a job!" And I was like, this is like right after I was terminated. I was like, I literally want it.
Yeah. It's like, I'm trying. I'm trying.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Pivoting subject real quick, just interstitial material. Second try.
Yeah.
We have decorations.
We want to. I want to showcase.
Shout
we
out
want to
St.
showcase like people in St. Louis that are doing really kick-ass work and kick-ass art. Second try. You probably have followed his stuff. And
You probably have heard of him before hearing of us.
Yeah. You might have discovered us because of him. Who knows?
He's a
good guy.
He's
a good friend,
and he has feet.
Yeah, you've probably seen him dangling off buildings all around St. Louis. He gave us these pieces, and thank you, by the way. We chose some of them based off of things that we love. We really like transit, and these are like 2 metro stops. See if you can take a guess, and we'll tell you if you're correct at what these stops are in St. Louis. And you probably know what building that is.
Insert the B-roll of us like looking at the close-up of these pictures.
You pointed out something about this big guy back here that I didn't initially notice, and it's less about the picture and more about other pictures of St. Louis, is that like how many famous or good or like, culturally ubiquitous pictures of St. Louis are of the north side?
There's not many.
There's not a ton.
This is a beautiful picture of North St. Louis. I mean, it is only like a very, very small section of the northern side. You can still get a little bit. Yeah, you still get a little bit.
You get a little Old North. You
get
was it Car Square a little bit?
Just
you get
to
some of the north of downtown
to the
area.
west
It's
there.
cool.
So if you see, this is a really good tear. I'm going to go over here and I'm just going to talk a little bit. You can talk while I do this, but it has come to my attention.
It has come to his attention.
This building right here.
That building under his finger.
I think it's this particular warehouse right here. These two. It might be this one as well, but it's right next to the Vest bottle, which you see right here, which is all the Vest bottle that everybody knows. It is Mr. Paul McKee that wants to tear that down.
Oh, there he is.
Mr. Paul McKee wants to tear down that building.
Very recently. And here's the thing. He wants to probably just raise it and just leave it there for quite some time. He wants to raise it and leave it there for quite some time. Also, why are we calling it raise?
Is that the article that just came out, like in the Post-Dispatch? Like there was an article that they were talking about.
What was that building?
Yes, but here's the thing: it might not be able to be rehabbed into
something.
Like
tearing it down didn't seem like that bad of an idea. But like, why is it a bad idea? Because it's Paul McKee.
It's a bad idea because he wants to just sit on it for a while and not do anything with the land.
But Davey, you know what you could do with a raised building? Surface level parking.
Oh yeah, I mean, look at that picture. Do we need more surface level parking?
Correct me if I'm wrong, David. So
you're wrong.
Thank you. The recent housing crisis and outrageous prices for housing and whatnot. Yeah. A lot of that conversation was driven around corporations are buying up housing stock and just sitting on them for a while, and that outraged everybody universally, left, right, center, whatever. It's pretty much the same thing Paul McKee does, except he tears down the buildings where there needs to be housing.
Yes.
And then just
and then calls his company Northside Regeneration.
Cognitive dissonance.
Northside Regeneration. It's like Northside Regeneration, another generation later. That should be his tagline.
Once I'm dead and have made all the money that I can make.
I'm not going to go further into it.
Last interstitial thing. I mean, we are doing a subscriber drive, and it's like
you are.
The thing about small nonprofits is that your money does go farther.
It does.
Our budget, including this show, would it
be further or farther?
Farther is distance. Further is depth or intensity or to a degree.
Thanks, Merriam Webster. Your dictionary.
So your money probably goes further.
At a small nonprofit, your money goes farther.
It's further. I think we've determined
your money does more at a small nonprofit because our budget, our yearly budget is 5 digits, and it's that. In terms of arts organizations, in terms of people putting on musicals and doing, all the things we do, podcasts, educational stuff, like our Theater for All initiative, look it up, flynorththeatricals.com, click some links, click around, see what's up. But the fact that we, and organizations just like us around town, Stray Dog Theater, et cetera, that are doing really similar things on shoestrings, is that like $100 to us is like a big freaking deal. Bradley and I will talk about it. If someone if someone signs up for $100 subscription, or even just gives us $100 flat, I'll be like, hey, Bradley, someone just it will be a big deal in our office.
Yeah.
And because we can do something substantial with that money in our world. Yeah. We don't have huge, corporate salaries. We don't have these like gigantic bills that we need to pay. We need to pay our rent, and we most of the time need to pay ourselves. And we need to pay the people that work for us, and keep educating kids in the arts, and keep putting out awesome content in the theatrical spaces. Yeah. And the Kransbergs make that possible for us, but also we have our own income that we need to maintain as well. So
I've met Nancy several times. She's a lovely person.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Lovely person.
Ken and Nancy both. Nancy runs a podcast too.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah. It's really good.
Anyway. Hi, I'm Nancy Kransberg.
Wow. Look just like her.
Yeah, I do.
Anyway, yeah, Fly North Theatricals. God, I can't say our
name.
FlyNorthTheatricals.com. Subscriber drive. Maybe do it.
Yeah. Anyway. I want to talk about the DeWitts now.
Let's talk about the DeWitt.
Old money DeWitts. Well, I don't know if that's old money. Well, I think so. His dad definitely Bill DeWitt Sr., it's like who currently owns the Cardinals, by the way.
Mm-hmm. I just realized it really is it's a portmanteau of dweeb and twit.
He's a dweeb twit?
It's DeWitt.
Yeah, he's a DeWitt. Runs the Cardinal organization, owns the Cardinal organization.
Now, do the Cardinals own Ballpark Village?
Mm-hmm. In perpetuity with the Cordish group.
And is that because that's where like Old Bush used to sit and they just own the land?
Mm-hmm. So they bought the land adjacent up to 40, 64. But anyways, so there is still a phase 3 of Ballpark Village that they have wanted to create.
Yeah.
They have already decided that one of those 3, let's call them 3 lots.
Is it going to take up some of the surface parking?
It will take up all the surface parking. That would be the goal. Right. We're already for it, right? Infill on parking lots is good. This podcast, this show is all about that. So my question that I give to you and to you for us to discuss here, what would you like to see infill?
Wait, and where
on the north side of Ballpark Village, where there are 3 in the parking lots.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So they've already done the phase 2. Right, which is what butts up against it, which is that fitness center, the PwC tower
Starbucks
with some.
In there too.
Yeah, there's Starbucks, and then this new social, and then the Bourbon Place, and then the Lowe's building, and then the 29-story One Cardinal Way with parking garage.
Was that phase 1?
That's phase 2.
This was all phase 2.
Yes, and then Ballpark Village was
phase
just
1?
Ballpark Village.
Oh,
like live.
It's like you just listed everything.
Fox Sports Live, but now it's Bally Live.
And now it's probably going to be something
Sinclair's, all that, Anyways, they have already said they want to build another residential tower, which is needed and necessary. And I agree with the Cordish group that should be done. Should it be another 29-story tower? Yeah. I'm okay. I don't think it should be much taller than that, though.
As long as it doesn't have a screen on the top of it.
Can we talk about what was that?
That
was a mistake.
Every time I go over any of those bridges, like going downtown, whether it's like Jefferson or 18th or 14th, I'm like, and I get it because it like phases into the stadium. Man, one of the best views, arguably, you could fight about that being the best view in baseball, facing northeast out of the stadium.
Yeah,
and that screen takes away from it quite a bit.
Technically, Pittsburgh faces northeast with the skyline in the background.
And that's again, it's arguable. I mean, the Pittsburgh view is great too, and there's a couple other ones that are fantastic as well. And St. Louis is among top tier.
Yeah, for sure, for good views in baseball.
But that screen
was a mistake.
Horseshit.
We definitely know it was a mistake.
And it's like it's not big enough to matter either. Like I would have rather them put it way down on the building, and then it doesn't destroy the skyline, and people get to read it inside the stadium.
Yeah, put it on the front.
It's so small.
It is.
For what it is.
I mean, it's huge. Like if you brought it down,
it'd be the size of the regular screen, if not bigger. Crap. Yeah, it's huge.
Yeah,
but it's also 350, 400 feet in the air.
Yeah. So I posed that the tower should not necessarily be another glass tower like that we all see in modern cities like Nashville and Austin are building all these residential towers.
Or return to our roots with the concrete brutalist structure.
No, I'm here for brutalism. I am, but in specific places. I would like brutalism in specific places. You have an issue with brutalism. It has a place.
It does.
It does not have it
in
the residential tower. So Houston?
Yeah, exactly.
Got it. Actually, Houston does have a lot of brutalists.
A lot of brutalists, yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So what do you want this building to look like?
I want it to be just like, I am not an architect. I am in real estate. I know a little bit about design.
It's not the same?
Huh?
Is that the same?
Architecture and real estate?
Brick by brick, David Lemon is building this city.
Oh, God, no. I don't want that kind of responsibility.
Oh, no, no, dude.
No.
Insert Ian. Insert the Lego Island 2 theme song here.
Oh.
It's brick by brick.
Brick by brick, tack by tick, no matter how thin, no matter how thick.
Oh my God. I
Whatever
forgot about Lego Island until just now.
It's the best game that's ever been made, except for all the other ones.
Holy crap. I'm going to go back and play it. You've just like unlocked an entire like portion of my brain that hasn't existed for eons. Whoa, nostalgia break.
Yeah, right up to the point where Lego's gonna hit us for copyright.
Yeah. I want it to be colorful. That's all I pose.
Ooh, okay.
I just want it to be colorful.
Yeah,
That's all I pose. Just build something, whether it is a contemporary piece of architecture or, very simple, like 80s block design, whatever it may be. Like, do it well, but just make it colorful. That's all I pose. That's it. The residential tower.
30-story building that is a giant Kababi Bayok mural.
Yeah.
Or you can do Kababi on one side and Phil Jarvis on the other.
Who's the...
Yeah.
Wait.
Or Phil Jarvis can paint all the
windows. Is that the guy? Who's the guy that did Obama's portrait?
That's Kahinda Wiley, and he's not from St.
Kahinda Wiley.
Yeah.
He's not from St. Louis?
No, he just did a big exhibition
here.
He did St. Louis
That's
Army.
right. That's why
he painted a woman from Ferguson.
He did a whole. There was a whole
thing.
Oh, there's a bunch of people.
It was an entire series. He basically took, and it's cool because it took.
But he should make a building.
Let me tell you about this. Kahinda Wiley was commissioned with St. Louis Art Museum to take several like old like Charles the First old masters and like classic pieces of European portraiture that are a part of the St. Louis Art Museum's collection. And then he traveled St. Louis and interviewed people and then painted them in his style reference to those pieces. So there's this really cool exhibit that put those pieces side by side when it first came out. The St. Louis Art Museum got to keep one of those pieces and the rest went to other places.
And the one that they got to keep was the woman from Ferguson, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
I went to that exhibit and I've been back once since, and like that's the painting I remember from both because that's the one that's there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
So with the Ballpark Village Phase 3, we've got confirmed residential tower going there. Is that taking up all that space, or is there more space to have stuff be done with?
I'm just thinking about baseball right now, and I miss Dave Steeb. Do you miss Dave?
Every day of my life.
Do you miss Dave?
Insert John Boyce's entire 7-hour YouTube dissertation about Dave Steeb for context.
If John Boyce subscribed to anything we did, I think I would. I'd be fine. I would die happy. Like my mom wouldn't have to talk to me for the rest of my life. I'd be happy. That's not true. I'm sorry, Mom.
The Ballpark Village Phase 3, the
tower in one spot.
Towers definitely happening in one spot.
I also want more residential besides that one tower. I want more residential. I want there to be residential density in some areas, and there's just not a ton of residential density in downtown, and there needs to be more.
Is there room for a mixed use tower that has like not just street level retail, but like other cool things?
You mean like every other city has like a John Hancock building type thing where it's like there's condos, and
like
there's
it's
street level residential, and
there's
there's offices?
Not a shopping mall.
Oh,
but not like that. I don't know, but like what else? Like
that ship has sailed. That
shopping
concept
malls
has sailed.
Sure. But like what else? I mean, like if not residential, if not office, if not glow in the dark putt, like what else exists?
I mean, people need places to live.
I said residential on the list.
So there's, I can't remember the name of it, but one of my ideas, maybe I should have done research before this on this particular guy. There's an architect, I cannot remember, it might be, I don't know. I think it's in Portugal. I don't know. Who's the director of Benny Safdie? Benny Safdie, you know, his dad, Benny and whoever Safdie, his dad, something Safdie, is the architect.
A few moments later.
Here it is. Moshe Safdie is his name. Moshe Safdie. We'll pull up the image. We'll just put it. I'll share you the image.
There it is.
This is what Moshe Safdie did.
Oh yeah, that.
Okay.
Wow. This
Type of housing works so well.
Does it?
It is co-housing and shared, like co-op housing. I think some type of unique piece of housing like that would work super well.
David.
Maybe not like that intense, by the way. Maybe not that intense.
Hold on. I just come with me.
Do you think capitalists are going to do that? Shh.
Hold on.
Is that what you're going to ask?
No. Okay. Oh, much more basic.
Oh.
Come with me on a journey of the mind.
I just want that.
To 5 years from now, where the St. Louis Cardinals and the Cornish group have all...
Cornish, not Cornish hen.
I thought it was Cornish. Like
Cordish.
Cordish, my bad. Like a Cordish hen.
Yes, like a Cordish hen.
Got it. That the St. Louis Cardinals and the Cordish group all did a bunch of fucking mushrooms or something and decided that was what they were going to do. Now, here's the mind journey. You're on Facebook.
Facebook still exists in 5 years?
Maybe.
Dude, it's got the stamina.
KMOX.
It still exists.
No, Fox 2 Now puts out an article that is shared on Facebook. And you go to the comment section.
See where you're going.
What world would we have wrought?
I think people would be all over it, dude.
Oh, they would be. They sure would be.
Yeah, but it's people from St. Charles County that would be all over it, like in that negative way.
Oh,
you couldn't pay me to live there.
Yeah, no. If
this is the future liberals want.
If they built,
we're not liberals.
A high-rise tower, whatever they build for phase 3 of Ballpark Village, it could be anything. They could put another parking garage there, and people from St. Louis County would be like,
no, you're going to do anything, and no matter what,
or St. Charles County.
They're going to have a crazy opinion about it. Yeah,
sure. I mean, they're going to.
The St. Louis Post-Dispatch comment section, by the way, if you want to spend like a good evening of just like figuring out that you did well in the world, and like there are way worse people out there.
If you want to feel good about your literacy,
yeah. Oh my god.
My gosh! If you look up the United States literacy rate and you're like 98%, and you're wondering what the 2% is,
it's the St. Louis Post-Dispatch comment section.
It's split between that and the Fox 2 Now and the other ones.
ABC.
In the Business Journal.
The Business Journal.
Yeah, the Biz Journal.
Okay.
I want more housing, is what I'm saying. I want more housing
and a water park
with a water slide that goes outside the building.
Kidding. Wait, no. Brewers already have the slide thing. In the park?
No, it's not in the park. It'd be out in the lot.
It'd be a water park with a water slide that goes outside the building, like the one at the Ramada in Council Bluffs.
What about like a zip line into the stadium?
I would be so mad if this is what happened, because people need housing, and that's like one of the burgeoning areas of downtown.
Yeah, but people who live in houses need a water park to go to.
You're not wrong.
That is considered walkability. You're right. Can you walk to the grocery store? No, but I can walk to Soaky Mountain in Gatlinburg, Tennessee.
You just touched on a point. City Museum Part 2. Ian says City Museum Part 2.
That yes, however,
if there was a zip line into the stadium, that would be like City Museum.
You know what City Museum has in it above City Museum?
Yeah,
housing.
It does, and it has a slide that goes all the way down. You brought up a point that I was going to bring, because if there is going to be more residential and more housing there, which is what I want an actual grocery store. I submit there's a Trader Joe's that goes in there.
No. Yes, and if you get a Trader Joe's, you have to also have a real grocery store.
No, do you know why I say Trader Joe's?
There's a Schnucks downtown.
Do you know why I say Trader Joe's?
Interesting.
Because it would easily clear people's minds of like, oh, okay, like if we're gonna get a grocery store down here, it's Trader Joe. Like we have nothing wrong with Trader Joe's. There's nothing wrong with Trader Joe's.
Sadly,
it's totally a gateway drug into like a full on friggin' Deerbergs down there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, but if I don't have a giant dangerous parking lot that a Target is on the other side of, why? How could I possibly go there?
Yeah, you're not wrong. How about how about this? Like above the Trader Joe's, put parking and then put like housing above that too.
Yeah, dude.
How about all in the same building?
I'm all for that. People like
that is what one cardinal way is.
People are going to drive.
That's what one cardinal way is.
People got to park. I do get that. I'm not a monster.
I submit it's a Trader Joe's that goes there. It's the gateway into getting more grocery stores down.
And you have a dumbwaiter going all the way up and down the building from the Trader Joe's so you can get your groceries delivered to your floor.
It's so bougie. That's a Whole Foods ass sounding thing.
Yeah.
Or, no, actually, not Whole Foods. Shops.
Well,
Straub's,
maybe.
Straub's.
Well, it's Straub's.
I don't even know what the hell it's called.
Matt Schaub.
I've never.
Former quarterback of the Houston Texans.
That's exactly what I thought, David.
Yeah, we all did.
Also to literally cap off this conversation in this building, not another rooftop bar, rooftop green space. Make it a park.
I don't love that idea.
Stop grandstanding. You stop.
But like, wouldn't it be nice if you live? I don't want to have to take the elevator down to street level to go visit the park. Let me take the elevator up to the rooftop to visit the park.
Tell me you're a deconstructing Christian now liberal without telling me you're a deconstructing Christian now liberal.
I don't know. You watch Good Mythical Morning. That's how.
Yeah, that's true.
That's how. Ian saying, yeah. Whoa. Okay.
All right. Sweet.
Hey, how about
speaking of walkability?
It's time for
31425. 31425 is a baby of a top 5 and a
tier list
that we won't. You'll see what it is.
If you want to see the convoluted over explanation of the structures behind this conversation, support us on Patreon. You get all that bonus content of just the stuff we cut that Bradley says and rambles about.
We don't have a Patreon.
I was gonna say. Insert insult here about Bradley over-explaining board games. And then just like me saying, let's play it. And he's like, no, I got to tell you all the rules first. I'm like, just play it.
Play it.
And that's the way you figure out how to play
That's
a board
how
game.
we're doing this right now.
That's also how you're going to figure out 31425.
Colin.
We're talking about walkable cities, municipalities of the St. Louis area.
1 is the best, 5 is the worst, right?
1 is the best, 5 is the worst.
1 is the worst.
Starting with 3.
There you go.
31425. Number 3.
Number 3
We're all in agreement. Webster Kirkwood.
Webster Kirkwood.
Yeah.
It's not that they're the same.
We're combining them into like an area of municipality. It's the turkey bowl thing that goes on, the rivalry between the high schools. Oh, that's what you call the rivalry between the high schools for the football
game. They are
game.
both separate entities, but they function the same as an example, and we all know which one's better than the other.
Yeah, we all know.
You're thinking about it right now.
And I agree with you. We're on the same page.
I agree.
How could you like that one?
I don't agree with a lot of things.
I love how
so you can live there hypothetically. Hypothetically, you can live there. I would probably imagine some people do live there without.
Yeah, especially if you live near either Old Webster or
Old Orchard
or downtown. Or Old Webster or Old Orchard.
Yes.
It
is confusing that they both are called old.
They're old.
Old Webster.
Well, I think they want to be
Orchard.
very clear with us that it is historic.
Yeah, that's a really good point. They're like, what? How can we make people realize that this place is legit?
Webster University is right there. Like
yes.
there is
Merrick's Hall.
There's a
Eden
whole
Seminary.
Yeah.
All right there.
There's a whole universities are little walkable cities. I love that video about do you know why you miss your college years? It's because it was a walkable city.
Right.
And Webster University, great example of that. Like there's, it could have more amenities, but also it's near a bunch of the amenities.
So what things make a walkable or car-freeable life that downtown Kirkwood or older downtown Webster have?
Access to groceries.
Uh-huh.
Access to bus lines and transit. Mm-hmm. And then restaurants, shops. But more importantly, wide sidewalks, bike lanes, all that stuff. A
city that is built for people, not for cars.
Yes.
And
pedestrian-friendly infrastructure.
Yeah. One on this list is as close to a neighborhood or city built for people. Number 5 on this list is completely built for cars, and you really can't leave your house without it. And 3, general mix of the both. As far as St. Louis goes, mid.
Yeah,
It is mid.
you could feasibly spend, you could live without a car if you wanted to go far outside of your own municipality. Like you'd have to live pretty close to the downtown core to make this really feasible.
Sure.
There are plenty of spaces that are highly suburbanized, subdivisions.
Yeah, the south side of 44 of Webster.
You just got
That's tough.
subdivision, shopping center, those all exist here, but they do have that old town core that has reasonable density, nearby amenities and residential. But also if you need to, commute outside of that neighborhood for work, it's going to take a little bit longer.
But even for grocery stores, the Walkable grocery store in Webster, I don't know as much about Kirkwood. The Walkable grocery store in Webster is Straub's. The one you kind of have to drive to is Schnucks, and that was just up by the highway.
Yeah, but also the Schnucks on Big Bend there, right across from that, it's surrounded, except for the side that's abutting the highway, it's surrounded by residential. It's all suburban. It's all
It's
subdivision.
Far, that's the thing.
It is difficult.
But what I'm saying is you could live in a house that you could walk to the grocery store.
Actually, you know what? When I moved to St. Louis, the first place I lived was in my aunt's little guest house, because that's this is the kind of lady she is, and I walked to that Schnucks. And that was a very nice house. On the other side of the highway, they have pedestrian overpasses, quite a few of them.
Yeah, they do.
To give this a little bit of context.
Yeah.
I think we talked about earlier, 2.9 on this list. Just above is something like Maplewood.
Yeah.
Where
Brentwood.
the grocery store is right across the street from the downtown strip. A lot of it's a pretty compact municipality. The metro passes fairly close to the downtown area, not close enough in my opinion. And the neighborhood that surrounds it is not dense, but it's close.
Yes.
No, and when I first moved to Maplewood many years ago, I had a car, I used a car primarily, but I did spend a significant amount of time in the neighborhood near the downtown core, walking to get my haircut, walking to get groceries, walking to the bars, the shops, whatever it all is.
And maybe 3.1 just below this is something.
I'm going to say 3.3.
Maybe, yeah. It's something like Ferguson, where it's you have a downtown strip. There is a somewhat density of buses that go around there, really just one through downtown Ferguson. But you do have a nice strip.
Yeah.
But it's pretty spread out.
It is. It is. I will, and something that maybe we should also explain is this has nothing to do with affordability.
No.
Right? This is just straight up car-centric pedestrian infrastructure.
Absolutely.
Can you live there without a car? And
what I think you'll
affordability
find,
does not have anything to do with it. Although
this list,
we will you'll understand.
This list is capped at both ends by really, really unaffordable places for most people.
Very.
Which is wild.
One of them
Not
being
the way it should
one of
be.
them being insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. On that note,
Number
Yeah.
one. Number one, Central West End.
Central West End,
It's
obviously.
without parallel.
The C-dub.
The C-dubs.
Yeah.
C.
It's the
The C-dubby.
Yeah. I mean, it's the thing that
CW?
if you're ever on seeing a Reddit post of I'm moving to St. Louis for
And I don't
business
have
and
a
I
car.
won't know what neighborhoods should I live in,
Top comment. CW.
it's like Central West End, you've got everything. You got really great, architecture, homes and apartments, and you've got this all, the Maryland kind of Euclid corridor of just great restaurants. You're right on, depending on, how close to Kings Highway you are, you're right on the park, Forest Park access, obviously hospitals right there.
Pretty good access to pretty good transit.
Yeah.
If not high
you got
quality transit.
Whole Foods, Straub's, Schnucks.
Yeah.
All right there.
Mm-hmm. And you can walk over the Ped Bridge to the
Yeah,
Grove.
you've got bike paths.
got the hospital.
You've got protected bike paths.
Yep.
You've got a hospital that used to be 3 hospitals that is now 1.
Which is
Gigantic
is
hospital.
one of the greatest hospitals
In the country.
In the country, especially if you have cancer. So if you have cancer and you live in Central West End, go there.
It's got a burgeoning tech district called Cortex.
That's a different neighborhood though.
Technically, that's Central West End.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
It's a different metro stop, so I think it's a different neighborhood.
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking about the actual,
what is
if
the
you type in
border?
Central West End on Google Maps, it will surround Cortex as well a little bit. I'm pretty sure. You can tell me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Either way,
Central
If
West
it
End.
does, then it has 2 transit stops, which is
That
pretty
is
cool.
true. Yeah.
So like think about that, and not like just transit stops, light rail transit
Yeah,
stops.
and good one. Like
Yeah.
Central West End is if you look at the rideability for the metro, which like all the cool kids I do.
Yeah, we do.
On
a regular basis.
The Central West End is like far and away
It is a self-explanatory, walkable, do not need a car neighborhood.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And on that line of like, especially like folks moving from out of town is like, young professionals.
I'm moving from New York and Chicago.
Whereas like I think a lot of people
It'll be cheap by those standards.
the sort of like runner up in this category, and I would think be like more reasonably affordable in this top category, thinking like downtown West. And I think it's interesting because downtown doesn't have really a lot of the like just kind of like daily life stuff. It's like, all right, you've got like lunch spots and you got the businesses, whatever. But I think there enough people have just kind of like moved there based on assumption, like I'm moving to a new city. Where should I live? I don't know. Get a loft downtown.
I'll move downtown.
And then like, but because of that, like I feel like that has really driven Wash Ave's development and has made, the Wash Ave area. And then of course, like all the new stuff with revitalization around Union Station, the new soccer stadium. There's more going on there
I think
now.
people from out west. Ooh. I don't mean to point at Lake St. I mean out west.
Yeah.
Don't
hurt his feelings.
People from St. Charles County, the great commenters in the St. Louis Post-Dispatch comment section. Not sure if there's a delineation between downtown and downtown west. Yeah. The technical delineation between downtown and downtown west
is Tucker.
It's Tucker.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
which is 14th, right?
12th. Good try though.
14th. Sorry, 14th is Blues right there. Tucker's 2 more.
Yeah. 14th Civic Center. 12th.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Sorry.
There is no.
Of course, you're right.
There is no real 12th Street though.
No, there isn't.
Tucker turns
there isn't.
into it's Tucker downtown, but Tucker turns into Gravelway going south, and then it just kind of ends
right
into
there.
the highway going north.
LaSalle right there.
But the downtown west, we're talking west of Tucker, south of like Delmar, I guess, but really it's more like Cass.
I was going to say Cass.
Yeah, and then north of the highway.
Yeah, and west of Jefferson.
Yeah, so we're talking
east of Jefferson.
In east of Jefferson, yeah. So we're talking, all the cool loft development all the way on up, the beginning of the garment district.
Downtown West and downtown I think you probably agree with me, has the most unbelievable potential of any neighborhoods in St. Louis. Absolutely. Because you can build pretty cheap right now.
Yeah.
And we actually have a friend who moved from Florida like me and was paying an amount to live in a apartment that faced an alley that was 250 square feet in Hollywood, Florida, my hometown. And is paying that exact same amount for a 550 square foot loft apartment downtown west. Which is not huge.
No.
But it's also not literally on an alley.
Yeah.
In not a humongous city.
Right,
no.
Right. It's like Hollywood. It's not Miami, and it's not Fort Lauderdale.
Hold on. Is Hollywood, is that where the Florida Panthers have the stadium?
Sunrise. Sunrise is like
that's it. Sunrise.
It's not even like the Chesterfield of South Florida. It's like the Earth
close
City,
though, right?
It's Earth City, but if Earth City had subdivisions, like it's just like a bunch of industrial and office space. Any call center.
Earth City had subdivisions.
Any call center call that you get from Florida, like any like scam, whatever, it's from Sunrise.
Amazing,
a ton. But yeah, that's what.
So
downtown. If you want Central West End, but affordable.
Downtown
West.
Yeah, up and coming. And that's like your best bet at living without a car.
Yeah.
Great transit access, great stuff right there. Yeah. You can be there.
Number 4.
I'm going to tell you number 4. This is the one we had. I'd say this is the one we had the most debate about, probably.
Because there's so many dupes.
Yeah, they're very similar, but I think this one maybe like has
do you want to describe it by amenities first and see if people can guess, and like they'll all guess something different and they'll all be right?
Sure.
What St. Louis municipality has a Strode.
Like a giant Strode with 3 lanes on either side with a center lane, turn lane, that goes north-south, is in South County. Okay. The high school Colors are yellow and black.
They are.
Are we?
I should know that.
So
Okay.
when
How about that? Let's start there.
I thought we were going to
Say
give
some guesses,
I thought
everybody.
you were going to give like general amenities related to the walkability or car centricness.
Why would I do that? That's
The
not
high
fun.
school-
Most people aren't going to
also,
be able to
the
do
high
that.
school
though.
mascot-
I'm trying to make
whole-
it appealing.
I'm trying to make the joke that
Okay,
there are
good
so
point.
many examples of
Yeah.
this because it is like
Yeah.
the basic suburban
But
model
his
in
is
St. Louis
funnier.
County.
Yeah.
Mine's funnier because they're going to guess and they're going to have different
It's
answers.
Oakville, damn it.
It's Oakville. Is it Oakville?
It is Oakville. We decided on Oakville.
Is it?
It's not Oakburg or Tocqueville.
It is Tocqueville.
It is
Sometimes.
It is Oakville.
I said Oakwood.
You did say Oakwood.
I feel like
He said Oakwood earlier.
My in-laws live in Oakville.
there's I feel like also like any of those municipalities that are also like have or like school districts that have like pot names like
Yes.
Tocqueville.
Kirkweed,
Yes.
Kirkwood.
Yes.
Pottonville.
Yeah. Mapleweed. Yeah. Mapleweird. They call it Mapleweird.
Yeah.
But anyways, it's a giant strode. Oakville is just one gigantic strode on Telegraph,
But-
as we all know.
But it does.
But it does have
On the plus side of Oakville,
Mm-hmm.
Telegraph has 2 separated bike lanes. They're not protected.
Yep.
But they are.
They are
You can
there.
technically get around
do it.
Oakville on a bike.
Yeah. Pretty dangerously.
And experience their genuinely good parks.
Yeah. Yeah. They are genuinely good.
Cliff Cave Park.
Cliff Cave Park
when
is
it's not
fantastic.
flooded.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Great.
yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Top tier park.
Oh yeah.
I will say their hockey team kind of rips off the Bruins.
My wife went to Oakville High School.
Yeah, they ripped off the Bruins. There's nothing against the Bruins. I hate the Bruins. I hate the Bruins.
Why does every high school mascot either
Yeah,
a professional
pro team.
sports team mascot
Or
or,
like a
clip
col-
art? Like that bulldog.
Yeah, it's
My high school was that bulldog.
All that to say
all that to
is
say.
Oakville
is you
this
can
really-
live there without a car. You can do it. You can do it.
It's an
You
example.
can do it.
It's a pretty good example of your classic like what you expect from St. Louis County being like
Strip
you got
malls.
subdivisions and strip malls and subdivisions and shopping centers, but within all that, you've got this central corridor, you've got some bike lanes, you have a bus that runs down there, and so you can live close enough to things to walk to, bike to, but it would be, a little bit of a hardship to go completely car free.
It would be very difficult.
I mean, like,
it would be very difficult.
I mean, I go there quite often because my in-laws live
Mm-hmm.
there. And Oakville, like all these municipalities, is the kind of place your in-laws live.
Yeah.
As it could insert anything.
That's
Acton.
funny because I was going to say it. My in-laws live in Shiloh, which is kind of like the Oakville of the East Side. No, I wouldn't say that. That's not true.
I've gotten winded, and this is not a comment on my own physical health. I don't own a car. I walk everywhere. Those parking lots in Oakville are big.
I was going to say massive.
They run deep.
I've gotten winded walking across.
Yeah.
From like
They're
Taco
unnecessarily
Bell
large.
to whatever. I'm like, man, this is just a lot. It's like 8-9 rows between you and anything.
Two. Bradley, you want to say
3142.
3142.
Yeah, number 2 is gonna be.
Should we let them guess again? No, let's just go
This
to
one's
it.
hard.
This
This one's like.
Well, this
difficult.
one, the shorthand. We're gonna put it by zip code of like 63104 and 63118.
Yep.
But like think Benton Park, South Jefferson corridor. So
McKinley Heights.
neighborhoods would be Benton Park, McKinley Heights, Soulard,
Benton Park West.
Benton Park West, Fox Park, Lafayette Square.
Yeah, that's pretty much the bounds of what I'm talking
Yeah,
about.
it's kind of all in this zone here.
Yes, we're kind of breaking the rules a little bit by like saying this municipality and this municipality and this
but here's
municipality.
the thing: they're all connected, and they
small.
all exhibit.
They're smaller than any of these other cities that
Right,
we've said
yeah.
so far.
They're,
Yeah.
And they're all-
they're
yeah.
small enough neighborhoods. They all
Landmass size.
But yeah,
small.
they're all connected to each other, and they all exhibit the pretty similar characteristics when it comes to urbanism, walkability, etc. One of the things about just South City in general, getting around in a car, it always feels like it takes forever because you don't have a major interstate running through it, like whereas like everywhere else in St. Louis City. But on the flip side of that, because you don't have major interstates running through stuff, it's a lot easier to have and also more necessary to have a relatively robust bus line system down there. So they're just like, are more buses going more places in South City?
In the future, of it seems to be pretty high as well with the
Well, sure, you got, I mean, Jefferson Corridor specifically.
Yeah, Jefferson Streetcar, baby.
Yeah.
One day.
and we have like actual evidence that this is a place to live without a car because
Hey, baby, it's me.
Yeah, Colin's neighborhood.
I'm here, which is not there, and I get
means you got here
without a car.
yeah, good
That
job.
that.
is wild.
We're really proud of you, man.
But yeah,
Thanks.
but I'm shouting out those neighborhoods. You've got like lots of single family, lots of duplexes, quads.
Yeah, there are drawbacks for sure.
Yeah.
Like you could call Gravois the original Strode. It
Yeah.
literally
God,
was.
it's a hellscape.
It was Route 66, which
a
you could
hellscape.
which you could qualify as the original Strode.
Yeah, you could. You really
Where I mean, shout out Greenfinch is right on Jefferson, Sydney, and Gravois.
One of the worst.
Crazy three-way intersection.
Unbelievable.
Five-way.
That I it's true.
five-way.
It is five-way.
It's insane.
I have to walk across that from Greenfinch to get to the post office. I have to walk across Gravois to get to my bus stop from my house,
Yeah.
which like is
We have some incredible ideas for that intersection, by the way.
yeah.
Yeah. Come see us, planners of St. Louis.
Yeah,
Because we know what we're talking about.
Have the
we
ideas.
know what we're talking about.
But there are definitely some drawbacks, which is why it's two. Like there's great access to there's access to grocery. There's
Used to be more with Fields
Rip
Foods.
Fields. But if you take one form of transit, you can get to any good grocery store and multiples of them.
Yeah.
There's great access to entertainment and nightlife between Soulard.
All of them.
This even for me extends all the way to like the north side of South Grand. I know that's weird, but like that whole section of Benton Park, Cherokee Street, like there's a lot of walkable nightlife for anywhere. Like I'm talking about a mile
Yeah.
or less in any direction, and you can get to literally everywhere we
Yeah.
just talked about.
Yeah.
And great entertainment, great nightlife, high quality transit by St. Louis standards, except the metro. That neighborhood is not only already good,
Yep.
it's improving.
It's improving
And
constantly.
there's probably, as far as our 31425 list goes, there's probably, 1.7 is this area of the neighborhood, and 2.3 or 4 is this area of the neighborhood. There's a diversity of access and goodness, but like the affordability, like Soulard we got priced out of, but we got priced out of Soulard to another part of this little neighborhood plex.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like, there's the diversity of incomes, diversity of affordability as far as like, affordability goes nowadays, which isn't great for anybody, but you can live there without a car. I know, I do it.
Yeah.
That's number 2.
Where's the place you have to have a car to
Number
live,
5,
ladies and
baby.
gentlemen?
5.
There's quite a few of these.
Some of you might not actually know it's a real place.
Right.
Most of you probably do, though.
What's the population of this? I feel like
My guess is actually going to be 200.
the part that makes this unfair is
That might be my real guess.
is that it is such a small municipality.
Maybe
But
300.
It's 334.
Oh, I feel good.
I'm sure people are thinking of a lot of different things.
They're thinking about they're probably thinking like what's on like the far edges,
Yeah.
like all the way, like
Wildwood.
what's north of Spanish Lake.
Right. This is not that. It is
Blackjack.
It is central, it's central.
It's kind of centralized.
And in the county, and this particular subdivision, I believe, or subdivision that is now a city,
It's called.
is one of the highest income earning places in the country.
The country.
Yeah. That is the municipality of Huntley, baby. Yeah. Huntley. Between Rock Hill and Kirkwood and Frontenac. It's this little tiny municipality on Lindbergh. It's the only...
Many St. Louisans only know it because Wayne Gretzky lives there.
Wayne Gretzky does live
sometimes lives there.
He just recently bought a house there, right?
He's been there for a while.
Oh, he has? Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Been there for a minute.
So here's the thing about Huntley. Here's why it's at the bottom of the list. And we probably could have said Wildwood. We probably could have said any other place that's like full of a bunch of like deep south,
Sure.
Oakville, Melville, like that whole.
And but you get to parts that are like on the edge of just being rural, which is kind of unfair to this list anyway.
Huntley not only is central, there is one way, basically one way in, one way out. And it's on, and mind you, like
Via your driver.
you're like, yeah, there's a bunch of subdivisions. Yep, right. There's a bunch of subdivisions that are one way in, one way out.
Yeah.
But this is a city.
It's mostly like horse farms. It's like
is a
stables.
city.
If you look, there's probably more horses than people that actually live there.
But
the 334 is probably people that live there for like 3 weeks out of the year.
It's a 334 is probably mostly horses.
That's what I'm saying.
My biggest grievance with Huntley, and actually it's not one way in, one way out. You technically can take a tiny road between Geyer and Lindbergh.
It is a private road, though.
Sure is. But so I want you again. Let's take a mind journey.
Who?
You're in Huntley. I know you can't imagine a number that big, but you're in Huntley. And
How did I get here?
And you're on foot. The fact of the matter is, if you didn't want to walk literally in the middle of a street in order to get to Huntley by foot, you couldn't. Secondly,
It's impossible.
If you wanted to leave Huntley, not on Geyer, you have to which it isn't really feasible. You're literally exiting onto a divided highway.
Yeah.
Lindbergh it might as well be a small freeway.
Yeah.
At that point. That's number 2. Number 3, and this is what makes it egregious, what makes it number 5 bottom of this list for me, because high-income earners don't take public transit. That's just an American problem.
Yeah,
But anyway, and it's
that is an
also
American
a
problem.
non-New York, non-Chicago, really just those 2 places.
Yeah,
problem.
really.
But is that
LA's getting better.
they're actually, yes, it sure is. But income bracket,
Still bad.
and income bracket to taking public transit.
I will
Everybody
say,
takes the subway in New York.
in Miami, Brightline is becoming a big thing, though.
Oh, poor sweet boy. If you have to live real close to that station to take it.
Well, it's close to the stations or
Sure.
like wealthy people is what I'm saying.
That's fair. Downtown Miami is very wealthy.
That's what
true.
I'm. That's
You're
what,
right,
that's
you're
what I
right.
was getting at.
Yeah, there's just not a lot of. Anyway, we can talk about Miami Transit some other time.
Sorry.
I obviously
I know you have
opinions
thoughts
about this.
Continue.
Patreon.
The thing that makes Huntley the most egregious to me is that you technically could walk to a grocery store, and a semi-affordable one too. It's not Strom's, it's Fresh Time.
Yeah, Fresh Time.
You could feasibly walk to Fresh Time. But
yeah,
it's
by the-
literally feet away from the end of the city.
I was going to
However,
say, by the crow flies, it's like a 1/4 mile.
yeah, it's absolutely the epitome of walkable. However, no sidewalks. And the only way to get there is on Lindbergh.
Yeah.
You have to, if I lived in
It has a
Huntley,
raised curb at one point.
this is the only, there's straight up on and off ramps to get into
That's
this
it.
neighborhood.
Yeah.
Like as if you're on the highway, it just dumps you off onto
Yeah.
insert residential street here.
Yeah.
If I wanted to go to Fresh Time or Fleming's Prime Steakhouse and Wine Bar, shout out, or the wine and cheese place, probably the grocery store of choice in Huntley.
Yeah.
Those are both your major food groups.
Wine and cheese.
Right.
Wine and place. I love how there's the wine and cheese place and then Fleming's Prime Steakhouse and Wine Bar, like abut the neighborhood.
Yeah.
And technically you could walk to both of them. Again,
It's as if they don't want anybody to come in or out on purpose.
you can't even make a left going out of Huntley.
Yeah.
You have to do your weird little Michigan left. You have to get off on the
Go
weird little
right.
off ramps that they've built
A
specifically
Michigan
for making a
left.
left.
Yeah,
the jug handle guys.
U-turn
yeah.
ramp.
Yeah.
Huntley, number 5.
And it's not even close, honestly.
You have
Really?
you have to own a car or a helicopter, and that's just it.
Yeah.
Helicopter might
And I
be a
bet
good
you
point.
it's a little bit of both.
Or a Pegasus.
Or Pegasus. Those aren't expensive though. Those are just mythical.
They are. Well, not for rich people.
And
they're
that's
not.
good mythical morning.
They could probably afford one.
That's right. They could make one out of oil and steam.
Do you think what other people in St. Louis do you think have that property in Huntley?
Tune in next
We
episode.
tell you where Rex Ziegfeld and Paul McKee live.
Our new segment,
Doxing.
doxing the ultra wealthy of St. Louis.
Man,
We
that
tell
would,
you where the Taylor family lives. We tell you where. No, my
that would
gosh.
be a hell of a
Good
podcast.
Lord.
That would last for 3 episodes and be the most popular podcast on earth.
Yeah. So if you wanna hear more ramblings of 31425, but also want to hear us talk about public infrastructure, things that matter, things that come up in Board of Aldermen votes, things that affect you, our affinity and love for and soon to be shrine to Gregory, our beloved Gregory FX Daily,
The man
The myth.
to whom we owe it all.
the one,
oh, there you
the
go.
one to whom we owe it all.
That is true. We sure do.
The
I owe quite a
1%.
bit of money to that man.
The 1% to whom we owe it all. Yeah, this is the show for you.
This is Overarching, filmed and recorded at Fly North Theatricals in residence with the Kranzberg Arts Foundation here in sunny Grand Center, St. Louis. You can check us out at Overarching St. Louis. I'm Colin.
I'm David.
And I'm Bradley.
It is what it was.